Shapoi, how you doing? Hey, in this video I would like to invite you to take a couple of steps back in order, of course, to step up for this year and what's coming up for you. So again, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be an old-fashioned talking head video because I just wanted to get this information out there as quickly as possible. So in this video I will give you something that I'm currently working on for myself. Again, it's not really so much about myself or, you know, the things that I think about, but more as a tool that you could use for yourself to become more aware over yourself and what it is that you currently want to do for yourself. So first of all, where I am heading with the work that I do with my videos. The thing is, and that's probably what I want to create, is that so many of us, we are all moving to the bigger cities. And moving to London, I moved here in 2013, and it has been a life-changing thing for me. Good, bad, depends how you see it. Because, you know, I was living like in the Netherlands, quiet area, and, you know, of course I was whining, complaining, bitching about what was going on in the Netherlands, whatever. But coming here was such a big eye-opener, because this is how many people live their lives. Many people live their life like living from a 7 till 9 job, really. People working 60, 70 hours here in order to make ends meet. 80% of their salary goes out for their rent, and yet you spend most of the time somewhere else. So the rat race is very intense here in bigger cities, and probably other cities around the globe is even worse, right? It's even much worse. So yeah, people are very, very busy with surviving, right? Very busy with surviving. And then we wonder, like, what does it mean to live a happy and fulfilled life? To express myself in a joyful way? What does it mean to open up the heart and work from a state of flow and inspiration? And then we wonder, we go online, we go on social media, and then again we see the perfect image of the perfect life, and you know, people living their perfect lives and whatnot, and that often can be a little bit confusing. So very often, most of the time, we spend most of our time with our co-workers, our colleagues. And again, it works great if, of course, you work on together on a bigger purpose, and that makes you feel like, you know, you're working on something that is much bigger than yourself. But that's not always the case. Sometimes there's like conflicts. There's, you know, there's stuff going on. Maybe you don't get along with one of your co-workers and stuff like that, or, you know, maybe some of them have personality disorders and whatnot. So what I wanted to say with that is that there's of course a beautiful quote, like, you become the person based on you know, the one of the five. You know, if you surround yourself with 5 people, then very often you become that person as well. So if you spend most of your time with your co-workers, stuff like that, and you don't really get along with them, or, you know, they projecting their thoughts, their ideas and idealism, or they're complaining or whatever onto you, that of course can, you know, give you a lot of stress, anxiety, whatever. Another thing is that you are starting to form your, let's say, your personal identity based on their expectations on how you should be and what you should be doing and what you should be having and whatnot. And we are doing so hard our best to keep this identity in form, right? And then maybe sometimes we feel something, we get an intuition, and what we try to do is suppress that, because, you know, we think it's not really in line with, you know, these expectations of this identity, whatever. And then we wonder where the stress is coming from, because, you know, we are disconnecting ourselves from who we really are, our true self, our true authentic self, our authenticity, right? And we always living in future events, right? And future achievement, a future goal, a future this or that, whatever. And then we will be happy and whatnot. So one thing we do is, we always try to keep up with expectations and conditions based on the people around us. Another thing is that, especially when you live in bigger cities, you only have to walk on the streets in bigger cities. You see people with their fancy cars and whatnot. You walk in a shopping mall. You constantly get bombarded with advertisements and stimulations on how a perfect life should look like, what you should be having and whatnot. And then you wonder, hey, wait a minute, I don't have that. Something must be wrong with me, right? Something must be wrong with me. I need to change that. And then again, we jump on the treadmill trying to achieve that next thing. So what I feel is that it's like society becomes more narcissistic, right? Narcissism seems to become the new norm for us. And these are only like, light forms of narcissism. When you have, let's say, when you had a relationship with a person who was indeed very narcissistic, who had a full-blown narcissistic personality disorder, then again, this form is much more intense. So what happened is that, again, you disconnect yourself, you shut down your own feelings, you cannot think your own thoughts, and you cannot feel your own feelings. And then again, you form this identity based on fear and survival, right? You create a very intense survival mechanism for yourself. And then again, you cannot really feel what you want for yourself, right? You cannot really get clear on your own values, your own truth, your own authenticity, what you really want for yourself. And that always has been my problem. Like, what is that I want for myself? And that started from a very young age. Anyway, I'm not going into this right now. Anyway, what I want to say with that is that you either experience light forms of narcissism, because by just living here in the society, or you have experienced a narcissistic person in your life, and now you wonder, what is it that, what is really my purpose? What is really my gift? What is that I really want to experience for myself? So that's why this channel is to give you some time to reflect, become aware of your own thoughts and feelings, and give yourself some time to really to take a step back in order to gain more clarity, to become more aware of yourself, develop self-awareness, because that's really what we need. Do we want it? I think we need it, right? So that's really, of course, what I'm heading with this YouTube channel, and what I really enjoy doing more for myself is improving the visuals, right? Is working on my cinematography, the aesthetics of my videos. And now we're getting a little bit of rain. Hope it won't be that bad, but time to give this video a quick wrap. So yeah, what I'm heading, of course, is my videos. Now the question, of course, I also ask myself, is just going to be my videos where I'm going to travel and look for beautiful, areas that I can film, travel around the UK, Europe, whatever, create like a location independent, create location independent work. Of course, I got a question like, hey, how is it going to work out financially for me? Because it does take a lot of time. As you can imagine, the travels and whatever, working on these videos, the editing, everything takes a lot of time. So yeah, the question, of course, if I'm just going to do my videos, how is it going to work out financially? Of course, I got the ideas like, hey, I can always share and recommend solutions that can help you on your personal development, your spirituality and everything like that. That's of course one way. Another way is, if I'm also going to do like one-on-one sessions, or if I'm going to do like group works or anything related to that, if I'm also going to do like local events. But then a question I ask myself, like, okay, so we have this political thing going on, the Brexit. We're not 100% sure if we want to settle down here in the UK, or if we're going back to the Netherlands, or perhaps I go together with my girlfriend and spend a year in South America. So that's also an option that we still have on the table. And then I ask myself, okay, then should I invest my time and effort in trying to build up something here locally, or should I work on something that I can manage online independently as a digital nomad? So that's of course the question that I ask myself, that of course I need to start focusing on. But then of course, like in some way I like to work independently on myself, on my creative work and whatnot. And I feel most connected when I'm out here in nature and that sort of things. When I get out of nature and when I get back to my tiny little desk in my tiny little apartments here in London, do my own work and stuff like that, yeah, I must be honest, sometimes that does feel a little bit lonely. It does feel, that's the other side of working independently. So yeah, that's also something that will be one of my challenges that of course I would like to, overcome in this year. So now the question of course is like, hey, what is that you want for yourself in this year? Again, I gave you a little bit of, my vision, my mission on what it is that I want to bring forward on this channel. What is that you really want for yourself? Please let me know, just drop a comment below. What is some of the questions you are currently asking yourself? What are you thinking about? What is that you want? What are some of the things that you're thinking about that could potentially hold you back? Or the different options, maybe you have too many ideas. Please let me know, drop a comment below and make sure to subscribe for more of these type of videos. So the tip I wanted to give to you that I actually forgot to mention when I was in the park, noise, started to rain, these kind of things, that actually the tip that you could bring to your life for this new year is try not to listen too much to others. And here's what I want to say with that is that leadership is all about leading yourself. It's also about learning to listen to others. Might work a little bit against each other, but it's learning to listen to each other, not just like, okay, everybody knows for me how I should be living my life, but more like, hey, can I get something out of that? Can I get something out of their advice? Be grateful for their best advice and the best intentions for you. Appreciate their advice, for the feedback. Take out of that what you want to take out of that. See how you can create, how that is going to resonate with your own personal values, your own truth. And then craft your own path from that, not just like, okay, because I was with my family and such with the holidays and stuff, and everybody knows how someone else should live their life, but they're not doing it for themselves. I also have a lot of ideas and stuff that I mentioned in my videos. Again, you should not take everything for granted, neither should you always just blindly follow my advice. Take out of that what you want to take out of that and craft your own values out of that and roll with that, right? I think that's really what leaders do. Listen, take out what they want to take out from that, appreciate their advice, and then create their own vision from that. That's really the number one tip I wanted to share with you, and hopefully this was helpful.